Hey moms, I was recently on an extended school break with my kids, and most of you know that extended break and lots of time together means lots of family fun, right? And also lots of fighting. So much fighting. I homeschool my kids part-time. They go to school 3 days a week, and one of the things that I'm in charge of doing is teaching my kids how to read. I've been thinking about the number of hours we have spent on developing skills like reading. And for as complex as reading is, I think about how much more complicated conflict resolution can be. So I asked myself, have I spent as much time teaching my kids how to handle conflict as I have teaching them how to read? And so during that extended break, I told myself that we were studying the subject of conflict resolution. You see, conflict is the work of childhood, and sometimes we desperately want it to go away, and oftentimes are stumped by what to do about it. Many of us avoid conflict and confrontation at all costs. Adults often step in and impose a solution for the kids. We'll squash conflict and sometimes come in with a lecture. But when we do this, we miss the chance to develop some crucial skills for our kids. Learning how to manage conflict is a gift that we can give our children. Pastor Peter says, healthy conflict will lead to growth and maturity. And I don't know about you, but we could use some growth and maturity in our house. When we help our kids manage conflict, they develop social understanding and empathy. They learn to stand up for themselves, communicate their feelings and needs, set limits on other people's behavior, and collaboratively problem solve. And they will need lots of practice. But simply fighting does not mean your kids are learning to manage conflict well. They also need lots of coaching. And I would like to give you some tools on how to do that. I will put it out there that I don't have the bandwidth to help mediate every single conflict for my kids. But the more I do, the more skills my kids will develop. And at the very least, if I can shift my perspective on the value and necessity of my kids having conflict, I won't get so frustrated by it when it crops up so much. I can see it as an opportunity most of the time. So what do we do about conflict? The most important step in any conflict is to keep everyone safe physically and emotionally. Help kids stop. For toddlers, I do most of the stopping for them because their impulse control has really not developed yet. I block or help by taking the toy that they're about to smash in someone's face. Part of keeping everyone safe is what I like to call checking the temperature. This is a quick evaluation of the brains, bodies, and receptivity of the kids. Are your kids regulated? Are you regulated? If anyone is dysregulated, they're going to have a hard time engaging in conflict resolution. So regulate first. Sometimes kids are mildly agitated, and with your support, they can work through to a solution. Sometimes they have totally lost it or flipped their lid, as Dan Siegel would describe it. There is time. If no one is being hurt, if nothing is being damaged, there is time. You can come back to conflict resolution. Regulate first. This is most often achieved through connection, presence, eye contact, touch, empathy, validation. What do you do if you have multiple kids and only one of you and everyone has lost it? For a season, the thing that worked for me was safe spaces. We had a couple of agreed upon spaces: the couch, mom's bed, their own bed, an old mattress that lives in my living room. If everyone has lost it and I cannot keep everyone safe while they are close, especially as my kids get older and their bodies were bigger, I would call safe spaces. They would go to their spaces, sometimes with a little help, and then check in one at a time to connect and help them regulate their bodies. Once we were in a receptive state, I brought everyone back together. After keeping everyone safe and checking the temperature, we can start to coach through the conflict. If everyone is safe and mostly regulated, this is where you will start. Say out loud the things you see and hear. Ask questions. I hear Charlotte saying stop. Charlotte, do you like the way she is pushing you? Is it too rough? Another word for this is sportscasting. I did another video dedicated to this topic. You can search for it in the Substance Moms YouTube channel if you'd like to hear more. It's like an announcer at a football game. Kids usually don't know they are in a problem until they're in it pretty deep, and oftentimes they're confused about how they got there. This tool will help your kids develop social awareness and learn to read body language. The child being too rough might not even realize that Charlotte is upset about the roughness of the play until Charlotte gets mad enough to hit or push back. This isn't always physical pain. It could be a joke that's gone too far. Giving information by reporting what you're seeing and hearing or asking questions will help give them a better picture of what's happening. This can help the child who's being rough understand what's going on, and it can give Charlotte a voice. With younger kids, I generally jump in and help right away. With older kids, I will often offer help first. Sometimes when I hear my kids' voices escalating from across the room, I'll walk over and start to do this before they even hit that dysregulated stage. Poppy, you sound upset. Do you need some help? Charlotte, you look frustrated. Do you need some help? Which brings me to the next step. Help them listen to each other. Have children state their feelings, wishes, or limits clearly. It's important that the kids address each other and not you. You are there to guide, coach, and help them have a voice so they can learn to speak up for themselves, set limits on other people's behavior, negotiate for their needs, listen to others, find solutions to problems. Younger kids who are pre-verbal or just learning to talk might need you to do most of the talking. They can nod or say one word like turn or stop. Kids as young as 2 can start to learn this. Older toddlers and pre-K kids can repeat after you as you help them figure out their feelings and wishes. Most kids can't come up with these words to state their feelings, wishes, or limits very clearly when they're young. You can feed it to them word for word, but it is important that the kids address each other. It might sound like this. Josh, you look mad. Were you done playing with that dino? No? Tell Noah, I am not done playing with that dino. This is where Josh can say to Noah, I am not done playing with that dino. Then I can ask Noah, Noah, would you like a turn with that dino? Yes? Okay, tell Josh, I would like a turn with that dino when you are done. Here, Noah is getting a tool for what he should have done when he wanted the toy instead of taking it. And by having him replay the situation and ask for a turn, we're creating brain pathways for the right way to do it. After Noah asks for a turn, I prompt Josh to tell him, you can have a turn when I'm done. This shows that Josh has heard Noah and agrees to their plan. So the whole child conversation might sound like this. I am not done with that toy. Can I have a turn when you're done? You can have a turn when I'm done. So we're keeping everyone safe. We're helping them listen to each other. Kids will also often need your help to figure out what the problem is. They might just say, no, 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 no. Or they might wind up and hit, bite, or pull hair. You can help them frame the problem. Are you worried about your block tower? You don't want Noah to knock it down. You can tell him, I am worried you are going to knock down my tower. Don't knock my tower down. And then I can ask Noah, are you going to knock his tower down? Tell Josh, I am not going to knock your tower down. Now, sometimes those toddlers just cannot help themselves, and that's okay. You can generally tell it's coming. They're not exactly masters of deception, and you can help them follow through or intervene if necessary. That might mean moving Noah to another part of the room to play or blocking him when he winds up to have a go at that tower. I'm going to help you keep this tower safe. Your elementary kiddos can start to have some of these conversations on their own, especially if they've had practice with it. And there will be lots of times that they will need you as well, especially when emotions run high or low. As kids get older, we still keep everyone safe, help them listen to one another, and figure out the problem. We can help them listen to each other and figure out the problem by sportscasting what you're seeing and echoing what your kids say. Your kids might be focused on what the other child did to them. They might not have an idea of what the actual problem is. The problem is not that Charlotte took Poppy's turn jumping on the mattress. The problem is that the two of them both want to play on the mattress at the same time. A child might think that their problem is that their brother is being mean, but the problem might be that they both want to play a different way. The problem itself is neutral. Once you have the problem clearly identified, the next step is to come up with a solution. You can ask them, what could you do to solve this problem? Does anyone have an idea for a compromise? Start here, because this is their problem. You might have a great solution, but you might be really surprised with what they can come up with. If kids are having a hard time coming up with anything, you can offer an idea. I have an idea if you'd like to hear it. Or, I know sometimes kids will set a timer to help with turns. If during the problem-solving stage, kids stop listening to one another, help them listen again. Sportscast and echo what the kids are saying. Hold limits. Jen hasn't finished sharing. You will get a turn to share your idea. Once the kids have come up with a plan that they can agree on, get a commitment from all parties involved. This can be a verbal agreement, a nod, a thumbs up, but get something. A child is much more likely to follow through on a plan that they have agreed to. If they try their plan and it doesn't work, they can come back to it, tweak the plan, or try something else. Now, what if you didn't see what happened? Have you ever heard your kid yell from their bedroom, "I'm telling mom," followed by pounding footsteps rushing in your direction, and you prep yourself for the inevitable onslaught of accusations that are extremely hard to keep up with and almost impossible to untangle? The good news is that you do not have to be the judge and jury. You do not have to break out Exhibit A and hear closing arguments to get to the bottom of who started it and who was the worst and who gets punished. You are keeping everyone safe, helping kids listen to one another, to express their feelings and figure out the problem. This is not who did what and then come up with a solution. Find the problem, then come up with a solution. So start with what you see. Ryan, you look mad. Brianne, I see your fists are bunched up. It looks like you're pretty mad too. Don't worry about what you don't know. Stick to what you do know. Stick to the facts and focus on emotions. This will help them uncover the problem. But what if one of the kids is refusing to be involved in the process? Validating their emotions and perspective will go a long way in positioning them to want to help problem solve, but sometimes they're still not willing or able to work together. You can reinforce the limit and take action. That might be moving the child away from the situation or spending a moment just connecting with them. Remember that there is time. If everyone and everything is safe, you have time. And sometimes you can come back to problem solving, and sometimes you won't, and that's okay too. For older kids, the steps remain the same. Keep everyone safe, listen, find the problem, and come up with a solution. The degree to which they want you involved might vary. When it comes to conflict they share with you, empathy and validation are always a great place to start. Like I mentioned before, so often we want to rescue or lecture our kids in these moments. With older kids, if you come in too hot with a solution and tell them what to do, or even give them a well-intentioned lecture about a lesson that you might have learned, there's a high probability that they'll tune you out, maybe roll their eyes, slam a door, or give a dramatic huff for good measure. You just don't understand. You hit that older elementary, preteen, teenager stage, and they do not like being told how they're feeling or what they should do about it. When you have an older child opening up to you, I try to remember to start with my body. They will read my reaction immediately. Soft body, soft eyes, soft curiosity. Try to get at or below their eye level. If they're sitting on their bed or their couch, you take the floor. If they're standing, you sit. It's incredibly disarming for them. They're usually more receptive if we come in with soft curiosity as opposed to FBI level interrogation. We all know you've seen those cop shows and have picked up some skills, but save them for somewhere else. Go softly with your questions. I wonder if that made you feel. And then unlike toddlers where you tell them what to do, here you can offer, but don't impose. Thank you for telling me. Are you just letting me know, or would you like some suggestions? Or could I offer a suggestion? Is this something you want me to talk to your teachers about? Do you want space right now or comfort? One of my kids likes her back scratched as comfort for me to heat up one of those warmy stuffies to snuggle. Maybe it's getting them a cozy blanket and a hot chocolate, or lacing up your tennis shoes and going for a run with them, or outside to play catch. Maybe they respond to your space or comfort question with, "I don't know." That's okay. I can just be here with you. And then be quiet. Just be there with them. Don't get me wrong, there are problems or conflict where you do need to intervene because you are the parent, and the first step is keep everyone safe. And sometimes that takes a level of parental intervention that your teen doesn't want. But there are also times when we can pull back and trust our kids to let us help them through in the way that they prefer, to earn their trust that we will be there and that we will listen to them. Conflict between our kids can feel overwhelming to manage at times. And yet, being intentional about teaching our kids how to respond to conflict is a gift we can give them. We can keep everyone safe, we can help them listen to each other, find the problem, and come up with solutions. We as moms can shift our perspective on conflict, knowing that it is a normal and important part of childhood. And hopefully with these tools, you feel better equipped to guide your kids through it.